Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Where's that coming from? Oh, yeah. I don't need you. You can go. I must have a million screens open right now. All right. Close some of those down. Okay. That is so much better. And what else can go? I think we're good. Oh, yeah, you can go. Oh, yeah, definitely you can go. Don't need that either. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good. Cheers. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let me see who was here first. Fancy, fancy. Fancy, fancy. I think you have the most here first than anybody else. Okay. And Vanessa Jones, thank you for being here. Lydia Washington, Carol Lunn, Mary H., Janice Goodrich, Eva Dennis, Carlene Beckford, Dr. Dredd, Jacqueline Rippey, OK Resistor, Hazel Jones, Angela May. All right. Okay, and there's a few other people I didn't name. So let's get on with it for some royal hot tea, hot royalty. Oh, I guess it should have been royal hot tea, hot royalty, hot royalty, like royalty, royalty. Oh, wow. I didn't think about that. Hot royalty. Well, anyway, okay. Go here next. So, as the one rabbit said to the other, want some tea? Herbal or verbal? Surprise me, surprise me. And let's see, this was a post from our Duchess today. Weekend plans: pick, snack, repeat. Pick, snack, repeat. That's it. That's the plan for the weekend, is to pick, snack, and repeat. Yeah. And then, of course, she shared that on the as ever, which, by the way, I haven't checked in about 2 days. I would like to know where the baby mama dance is. Just for fun. Where is baby mama dance? Baby mama dance is 54.9 million views. 54.9 million. That's almost as much as all the other views combined. It really is. Maybe not quite. But yeah, so good for you, Megan. Keep on posting. That's what we want to see. And then Megan posted this as well. That weekend feeling. Bring back that weekend feeling. Whoa, whoa, weekend feeling. Bring back that weekend feeling and it go. Oh, yes, that weekend feeling. Was that a song? Bring back that weekend feeling. Whoa, weekend feeling. Yeah, I think that was a song. Was that the Commodores? Was that Buddy Holly? Somebody sang it. Okay. By the way, if you're interested in those sandals, of course, they're Aquazura. One of the squatties found them. And listen, the low price of $580. Who hasn't got that stuffed in their bra or something like that? Hell, I got one stuffed in my bra. Let me see here. Yeah, Hall and Oates, probably. Yeah, here's probably Hall and Oates. Okay. The Righteous Brothers. Bring back that weekend feeling. Okay. So, Royal Donor offered access to Prince William at Polo Cup for $20K. Are we doing this again? Are we really doing this again? Huh? Is that what's going on? Are we really doing the old, that stuff again? Mm-mm-mm. I thought the resemblance between father and son, I thought that ended with, being a slumlord or refusing to pay taxes or not disclosing the amount of tax or whatever. I thought that ended with them, right? Apparently not. Well, him, not them, him. But yeah, looks like if you want access, all of that can be yours if the price is right. Well, come on down. Let me see. Kensington Palace cut ties with Minerva Manjar Steiner after VVIP. Is that very, very important person? Invitations to a Windsor fundraiser were touted via a luxury concierge service. Wow. So, as you can see up there, it says Prince William in cash for access controversy as super rich offered private meeting with the heir to the throne for £20,000. Kensington Palace cut ties with Filipino Swiss millionaires. Behind the deal tonight, says HRH does not condone her conduct. I guess that means His Royal Highness, huh? William does not condone her conduct. Well, if it's anything like the cash for honors, this is cash for access. Look at there. A few comments about this reads like this. Can you imagine wanting to spend money to see Camilla's son, William, her son William? I get that. I can see. Let me see. Yeah, I can see abusers for free without wasting money. Royal Donor offered access to Prince William at Polo Cup for 20,000 K. My goodness. And I guess that was the Polo Cup. I Am Sage says, Charles took bags of money from the bin Laden family after 9/11. His dishonorable ways has been passed down onto his heir. And by the way, that is alleged. I don't think there was ever a trial about Charles taking money from the bin Laden family. No surprise that just like Charles, William is embroiled in a shameful cash for access scandal. William pretending to cut ties because he's got caught. Don't know who is worse between William and Charles. Now, over there on the right, hi, Ingrid Soares, Heather Stroud, Mary H., Eddie, LDSW. The Prince of Wales has been forced to cut ties with a donor to his charities after she attempted to sell access. Attempted. Oh, so are they saying that never happened before? Attempted to sell access to him for £20,000. Minerva Manjar Steiner, a Filipina Swiss millionaire whose art gallery was an official sponsor of Williams' annual charitable polo event, had offered a private meeting with the prince in exchange for cash. She also offered VVIP tickets and access to royalty for advertisers prepared to pay £50,000 to feature in a magazine handed out at the fundraiser. So, as we know, there are people that are willing to spend a lot of money for that photo next to royals, right? And of course, having those photos with the royals, it kind of implies that you have a certain access, that you have a certain clout. It's for the clout chaser in the family. Isn't that something? Huh. So the Prince of Wales has been forced to cut ties with the donor to his charities after she attempted. Yeah, we know that. Whose gallery was an official sponsor of Williams' annual charitable polo event, has offered a private meeting. Tickets advertisers prepared to pay £50,000 to feature in an. Okay, did I do that twice? Probably. The Royal Charity Polo Cup match taking place at Windsor next month is an invitation only event where millionaire donors can watch the prince play polo. Yuck. They are expected to give to causes close to his heart. That's implying that William has a heart. I'm just going to say the jury is still out on that one. Often writing checks for hundreds of thousands of pounds. Are you sure they're not writing this article just to elevate William's status, to try to demonstrate that he can raise more money than Prince Harry? Because it's starting to sound that way. Fancy gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that. You are a treasure. Now, there is one individual who would probably pay good money to have access to William. I mean to tell you, they would probably pay a king's ransom or a queen's ransom, although there's I don't know. This queen, you could probably only get $1.98 for her, right? You'd be lucky if you could get £5 for this queen, because this queen is well over the sell by date, right? Could you imagine pushing that outdated set of goods across the counter trying to sell access to it? Of course, there was a time when access to that one right there was easily had. For a song and a for a song and a dance, from what I hear, access was not very difficult for that one. Um, yeah, round the clock access. Matter of fact, I think that's what someone wrote in her yearbook. Oh, wait a minute. She didn't finish school, did she? And what is it she's pushing right now? Literature? Makes sense. Makes sense. Um, but I'm telling you, I just don't know who would be so desperate to pay so much money for access to Prince William. I mean, it seems like he's easily accessible to most people. Oh, I think I know who would pay money for access to him. The only thing is the check would probably bounce. You know who would pay money to get close to him?
got time for that.
Yeah, I think one person who would pay good money to try to have access to William is someone who finds it difficult to get next to him, and that is probably his wife. Yeah. Unless they're making one of those herbal essence commercials, it's not easy to get access to him. Yeah, it's not easy, girl. It's okay. It's not easy. Um, Too bad you're not a black man. Anyway, it says here the Royal Charity Polo match taking place at Windsor in the next month is an invitation only. Oh yeah. So the what is it? Manger Steiner person who was on the guest list extended a strictly private and confidential invitation to wealthy individuals belonging to a luxury concierge service. They were told that, sorry, they were told that in exchange for donations to her own philanthropic foundation, they could attend the event or even join her in a meeting with the future king himself. The email read, as patron of the Manger Foundation, you are invited to support their philanthropic work through a charitable donation, in return for which you will be welcome to this prestigious occasion. That sounds pretty harmless, right? It continues patrons' contributions £6,000 for admission for each patron, £20,000 included full access plus a private audience with Prince William and, oh God, Princess Catherine. Well, I tell you, if you're willing to pay £20,000, if you're willing to pay £20,000 for access to meet William, how much would somebody pay to get away from Kate, especially when she starts talking about the early years? Huh? How much does it cost to get away from Kate when she started talking about the early years? I'm pretty sure people would pay a lot of money to escape Kate Middleton when she starts talking about the early years. Huh? I would pay good money for that. I mean, I would start digging in the corners of my pocket. I would go through every pocket of my book bag or backpack. I would scrape the streets. I would crawl in the sewer if I thought I saw a coin roll in there. Whatever it takes to get away from her. Yeah, because once she starts talking about the early years, it somehow transcends time and space. Mostly she don't have a lot to say, but then again, it seems like she can't stop a talking. uh, the only person who could resist Kate's early years is Sweet Brown.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, she's the only one who's figured out how to get away from her. She just says,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, that's how you get away from her. You just say nobody got time for that. So, dear ASW member, we are pleased to extend to you a strictly private and confidential invitation. Private and confidential? To one of the season's most exceptional events. No wonder it's private and confidential. Now, do you get a discount if you don't have to talk to Kate? Instead of paying 20K, is it like 10K if they could just let you talk to William instead of Kate? How about to talk to William and a couple of the kids without Kate? 15K. Huh? Now that's a bargain, and it will save your sanity because then you wouldn't have to talk to Kate.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Compton Cali Gal, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, if I went to that event after I got through talking to William, even though I could never see myself spending money to talk to him, and then they say, don't forget, wait, don't forget, you still get to have a audience with Kate Middleton.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, I'm good. You sure you don't want to meet the Princess of Wales?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay. It's your money. No, life is too short. Life is too short. Okay. So it says over here, the email added that guests would also receive a luncheon with a free-flowing champagne, watch a VIP polo match in an intimate setting, attend an art exhibition, and mix with an invitation-only guest list of ultra-high net worth individuals, cultural icons, and luxury leaders. Really? And it added that the attached invitation is for your eyes only and not to be shared publicly or on social media. Woo, this is getting juicy, ain't it? This is getting juicy. You mean to tell me you'll accept 20,000 pounds? What happens to the money? If this is so private, what happens to the money? Now, you won't believe this, but this was a Times article. Yes, the Sunday Times coming for William. I can't believe it. The invitation was sent to members of a small world. Of a small world. Is that a company or something? Oh, yeah, it says right there. A Swiss company once described as MySpace for millionaires by the Wall Street Journal. In another document, Monjar Steiner team offered the opportunity to meet William to potential advertisers in a magazine to be handed to all those at the tournament. For 50,000 pounds, she said she would grant companies a double-page editorial spread or two VVIP tickets, securing them a seat at the tournament and access to the Royals. This is outrageous. It seems as though there would be no record of the money. The disclosures threaten to cast a shadow over the competition, which has granted William an opportunity to play the sport he has enjoyed since childhood among friends, fellow Royals, and long-standing supporters. You guys, this is kind of serious, isn't it? This is a scandal. Hey, Legs, I thought I saw you here. Now, the Guards Polo Club, whose president has included the late Prince Philip and whose patron was Elizabeth II, is based at Windsor Great Park, which historically served as a hunting ground for royals at the castle. The charity Polo even has been operated on the basis of a strict confidentiality, and the place tends to publicly announce William's involvement and publish photographs after it has taken place. This is the case for last year's event where William was present, but Kate, then undergoing cancer treatment, did not. That event raised £1 million for charity. That's it? That's it? Yeah, they don't do better than Harry. The princess attended in 2023, presenting her husband with a trophy. Oh, you mean this 2023? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? For some reason, I remember that clearly. How could I forget that? It's hard to forget Kate reaching out for her husband and him dodging her like that. You can hardly forget that. Yeah, I remember that one. Very vivid memories of that. Um, yep, that's memorable. Hey, peace and joy. so, over the last 13 years, the heir to the throne has raised more than £10 million for causes including the Royal African Society, Mountain Rescue England and Wales, and the Motor Neuron Disease Association. The explicit nature of the email has echoes, that is, of the Cash for Access scandal involving the king when he was the Prince of Wales. The emails also pose questions to William's operation, including the due diligence before Monjar Steiner was granted the status of an official sponsor or permitted to host an art exhibit and distribute her own magazine at the event. A Kensington Palace source said William did not condone the behavior outlined in the email and thanked the Sunday Times for bringing the matter to their attention. In these circumstances, they said they had asked the club to terminate its relationship with the sponsor. The palace said it had no idea that Manja Steiner was using the occasion to raise money for her own causes or promising access to William. In an unusually forthright intervention, the source said William did not condone the type of behavior in question and said there would be no cash for access. Now, you know what? This is nothing but karma, because if that would have been anything to do with Harry, we would have never heard the end of it. And also, given the fact that it is possible, alleged that William somehow used his people to derail the Centibale, well, I tell you what, we have no proof that William had anything to do with that, but we do know people who had been close to William seemed to have their hands all over it. So, again, not an indictment, not any concrete evidence, but I, for one, am best pleased that this happened. This pleases me, and good riddance. Now, of course, they could not tell the story without involving Prince Harry. You know, they have to put Harry in there somehow. I'm surprised they didn't get Meghan in there, but definitely Harry. Last September, she posed for photographs with the Duke of Sussex at the annual award for Well Child. the charity for seriously ill children in London. Weeks beforehand, she met Benedict Cumberbatch at a screening of a film about the environment he was hosting, also posing for photos. Now, um, if she posed for a photo with Prince Harry at Wellchild, where's the photo? Where's the photo? The article included these two photos. Where is the photo of Prince Harry and this person? Where's the photo? I mean, you tell us they posed, and who knows, it may very well be true. But if it is true, where's the evidence? I'm not even going to doubt that she was there. Um, it's either two things are going on here, one of two things. One, there is a photo, but the photo includes other people, and instead of just a single photo with Prince Harry. And if that is the case, then chances are they decided, let's not go there. We can't show that photo because it would show that she was just one of several people. Or they didn't take a photo at all. But I'm willing to guess that it was probably a group shot. And she just happened to be there, like anybody else anxious to associate herself with Prince Harry in some kind of way. But otherwise, why mention the photo if you don't have it? Put up or shut up. And I'm looking through my archive right now, trying to see if I can spot that photo. Let me see. I see a Harry and two ladies, but I cannot be sure. I don't think either one of those is this person right here. Nope. Nope. But of course, they only brought that up to try and imply that Harry had anything to do with it, which he did not. Gosh, these are some shady people. Shady. I mean, it says clearly she posed for photographs with the Duke of Sussex. Well, why not include the photograph? If that's what happened, where's the photo? Either you couldn't get it or it doesn't exist. Let me see. Okay. I'm doing an image search. Oh, well, there you have it. It's a group shot. It is a group shot, just as I suspected. A group shot. I'll show you guys. I will show you. And that's why they didn't include it, because it was a group shot. I tell you, you really have to have your eyes open for you in order to see through some of this crap. Okay. Okay, I'll show you. Full disclosure, here's the photo. Yeah, here's the photo. Full disclosure. What an indictment. They just had to throw Harry in there. Oh, you know what? And I'm looking at the let me see, this is the donor Minerva de Steiner pictured to the right of Harry last September. One of the squaddies said, "Did Harry accept the money?" No, stop trying to distract from William being dirty. uh Unfortunately, you can't use Harry as your royal scapegoat anymore. I know it's become your standard default over the years, but that's over now. William accepted the cash, not Harry. Try again. Okay, I had to friend both of those people. Let me follow these people. Oh, I'm already following one of them. You see what I mean? Oh, well. And that is why they did not include that photo. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, it's back to the Prince of Wales accepting money. The Prince of Wales, why is it do they need so much money? If you ask me, I think that between both princes of Wales, they don't need the money for themselves, not directly. It is a way to, and I'm this is alleged, I think that some of the secrets that people keep come at a very high price. Their courtiers are not there because the position pays so well. Those courtiers are there because it's a great come up, both in terms of their career and also their pocketbooks. Because I think that most courtiers, to some degree, are selling access to the royal family. To some degree, they all sell access. Even if it's taking your friends on a tour of one of the royal households, they're still selling access. Now, this story just reminds me of Charles' little chubby, bloated hand all in the teal. I mean, just trying desperately to pinch those big, greasy fingers together to try to pick up one of those pound notes. Not easy to do when you're a living stuffed sausage. When you're a human Broxworth, it is not easy to do. And of course, the coinage also is anatomically correct. As you can see, when you see the profile of one of those new King Charles coins, it was a very difficult thing to do, but they managed to lift the ear off of the coin so that it would be as, you know, identifiable as possible. Someday, an archaeologist is going to unearth that coin, and it's going to be worth a lot of money. And then there on the right, you can see once again that big bloated sausage hand, just like the one that we saw reaching into the teal. See there? It's like a big chorizo. Leg says Dan Wooden, Christian Jones, Jason Knopf, and who is the W? William has many mouths to feed. Here, here. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah. Um, it's money that is off the books, if y'all know what I mean. They don't have to account for it. Like that super secretive invitation that was sent out to certain wealthy individuals. That money is never going to be taxed. It's never going to see the light of day. Speaking of which, there's Michael Forsythe. Michael Forsyth has been working for Charles III since he was 19 years old. His skill set is pretty much just slick. He's a slick little hustler that knows how to get things done. And of course, the cash for honors that has his name all over it, allegedly. He actually had to step down from his position as a very important assistant to Charles, even though, just like with anyone who works for William, they go away, but they never stray so far. Okay. Let me see. What is that I missed? Yeah, yep. That's what I believe. I believe that in order to get the type of work that they need out of their courtiers, it comes at a premium. It comes at a premium. Untraceable cash, allegedly, falling into both duchies or royal households. Now, if you take a look there on the left side, that, of course, is Mr. Michael Forsyth. The unskilled labor, no formal education anyway. Former royal aide Charles once called indispensable. Really? I wonder why. The ex CEO resignation from the Prince's Foundation is his third since he began working with the Prince. See what I mean? Third resignation. Michael Fawcett's service to the royal family began in his late teens when the accountant's son from, is it Orpington, Kent, became a footman to the Queen in 1981. The Prince of Wales is once to have said, or remarked rather, I can manage without just about anyone except for Michael. The 58-year-old resignation as chief executive of the Prince's Foundation, the umbrella group for the Prince's charitable interests, is his third since he began working alongside Charles. Umbrella group? So that means it operates outside of the typical operation? Promoted to sergeant footman and then assistant valet to Prince of Wales, he was summoned to explain why 3 other members of the staff were resigning in 1998: a chauffeur, an equerry's assistant, and valet had complained that Fawcett was using his closeness to Charles to throw his weight around. He duly resigned, but was back a week later and promoted to the Prince's personal assistant, described by Charles as indispensable. At the end of 2000, he was made a member of the Royal Victorian Order. Does that sound familiar? Just like Jason Knopf, he was made a member of the Royal Victorian Order. And that is someone who has provided some type of service to the crown that they have found indispensable, like plotting against one's sister-in-law, right? That is grounds for one of those honors. At the end of 2000, he was made a member of the Royal Victorian Order, awarded to those who give distinguished personal service to the monarchy. Mrs. Burgess, a mother of two, had told the two-day hearing in Bristol that she quit her £12,000 a year part-time post at Highgrove, the Prince's Gloucestershire estate, because she had been racially and intimately discriminated against. Okay. She said Highgrove, where she was the only regular Black employee among 30 staff, was run on an old school basis, which was not comfortable with people of different races. Mrs. Burgess, 39, who was Charles's personal secretary for 10 years, had broken down in tears as she told the tribunal she was subjected to racist jokes and name calling, she claimed. And in 1996, she was called the F something N-word typist by Charles's trusted valet, Michael Fawcett. She did not make a formal complaint because she believed the prince would never accept it, although she said she believed Charles liked her. Mrs. Burgess said there was always Black jokes and names going around because it is the royal family and is still very protected. Now, you see there, when people were accusing them of being racist, this information, which appears to have been in the Guardian, was never brought up. It was never brought up. And let's see, it has its own rules and regulations, meaning, of course, the royal family, the institution. It does not live in the outside world. People have been able to get away with all sorts of things. Mrs. Burgess said the prince's deputy private secretary, Mark Boland, the fixer, that's the one who they decided would help somehow reform Camilla's and Charles's reputations, Mark Boland. See how these names all fit together? Deputy Private Secretary Mark Boland and head of personnel, that is Mimi. Watts had plotted to squeeze her out in favor of a white woman. You hear that? They wanted to replace her with a white woman. This is why they don't like to hire Black people in the royal household, because they want to be able to be as crass and as filthy as they would like, and they don't want anybody around like Mrs. Burgess to witness that, yes, it's true. It is a very racist institution. And Michael Fawcett appears to have been a ringleader, allegedly. That is why they don't like to hire Black people. So it says there in that horribly small print, it says a file of evidence into an alleged cash for honor scandal in the UK involving one of the charities of Britain's King Charles has been passed by police to the Crown Prosecutor Service. The Metropolitan Police launched an investigation in February following a series of newspaper articles alleging donors to the Prince's Foundation has offered help securing a knighthood, also known as cash for honors. Anti-monarchy group Republic has made a formal complaint to the Met detectives about the king and former close confidant Michael Fawcett in September of 2021 following the story. Mr. Fawcett, who has since resigned as chief executive of the Prince's Foundation in the wake of the alleged scandal, has been accused of promising to help Saudi billionaire donor achieve British citizenship and the honor. Now, you mean to tell me that the same royal household that was blocking Harry and Meghan from getting the passports that their children desperately needed. That same government of the same king who would not allow them to have passports for 6 months until they threatened a name change. That is the same royal household of the same government that was trying to move heaven and earth to make sure that a billionaire Saudi prince received British citizenship. And the reason why that's so important is because it puts them out of reach of the Saudi government. Even though that's a Saudi prince, the thing is, there may be 200 or 300 Saudi princes. They're huge families, and they pass out those prince titles like you pass in a bowl of pretzels. So that's very easy to come by if you're remotely related to any of the royal households. Um, but it puts them out of reach of the rest of the family. It gives you a chance to secure your money and property away from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Just like the Russian oligarchs, it's always a good hedge against, domestic trouble if you can get assets outside of the country as an extra added safety measure to make sure that you never go broke or end up in jail. So, or worse, or worse. So, and then on the right side there it says Prince Charles hands key 95,000 pound job heading charity empire to former valet Michael Fawcett. Now that was in 2018, March of 2018, who left his service after selling off royal gifts. You see what I mean? Selling off royal gifts, raising money. Charles does not need the money. And I am going to allege that members of the family usually have full knowledge that their courtiers are doing these things. That's why they did not want Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, around, because those same courtiers that could throw together some type of meeting or whatever in an instant without really paying attention to things like demographics or tribal situations. Meghan was making those people do the jobs that they were hired for. Meghan, unlike most of the royals, exercised her prerogative and wanted input into whatever mission that she was on. You know what I'm saying? Just like Harry also questioned and requested certain things on royal tours. Harry had got to be very good. I'm sorry. Harry had managed to get very good at the royal tours because he has done so many of them alone. Like when Harry came to the United States and he went to the grave of John F. Kennedy, he went to the Wounded Warriors games. That part of his itinerary was his idea. That did not come from the courtiers. That did not come from the royal household or even from the government. That was Harry's idea. If I'm going to the United States, I need to do X, Y, Z. And that is how that happened. William and Kate, well, they don't get involved. They don't ask for anything extra. They just want people to handle things and try to make me look like my grandmother, try to make me look like my grandfather, right? That's what they wanted, was to go to the Caribbean and do Liz and Philip 2.0 without any regards to the people, the indigenous population. And what happened? They were they had protesters in Belize. They didn't ask permission from the local tribes, like, of course, Harry and Meghan with the Invictus games. What happened? They actually spent more time with members of the tribe than probably any other royal before or probably ever will. That's the difference. That's why they needed Meghan out of there, because Harry was already asking for certain things from the royal household when they sent him on tours. And the two of them together, that was more work than they were ever used to actually doing. So, yeah, they wanted them out of there. Let me see. The Kent family used to put items up for auction at Sotheby's and Christie's. The Fail used to drag them. Yeah, you're talking about Princess Michael of Kent and Prince Michael. Yeah, those are two of the biggest grifters, two of the biggest opportunists that have ever drawn a breath in that family. Two of the biggest, not the biggest for certain, but two of the biggest. They get as much out of their status as you could imagine. So it should, if you, and really, you guys, this is a lesson for you who have never heard this before, but people send items to the royal households all the time. And those ladies in the office and some gentlemen, they sit there and they go through those envelopes. There are times when people believe that the royals are short of cash and they will send them money. They will send them jewelry. They will send them a lot of personal things because they believe that they're being helpful. They think the queen is going to wear their brooch. That stuff happens all the time. Now, the items are supposed to be cataloged and put into storage or whatever. Just imagine how much stuff never makes it. Just imagine how much stuff never makes it. That's why you look at Michael Fawcett, you see that big smug look on his face. That is because he is afforded opportunities that no one in his family has ever had before. He is literally holding the royal wee-wee every time Charles has to piss. Okay, figuratively holding the royal wee-wee every time Charles has to take a piss. And there is much to be gained from that kind of access to the Prince of Wales, now the King. You know all his secrets. You can make troubles disappear. So Prince Charles' controversial former valet, Michael Fawcett, was put in charge of his charity empire yesterday, sealing that is, an astonishing rise to power. Mr. Fawcett, who started as a junior footman, has been made the £95,000 a year chief executive of the Prince's Foundation. This man doesn't have any qualifications, no more than on-the-job training. This has put him in charge of multi-million-pound budget and gives him responsibility for all the future king's public work on issues including architecture, heritage, culture, and education. Oh, as if Mr. Fawcett's appointment is all the more remarkable, given that that he has been forced to resign from the prince's service twice. So this is an older article. This was when he had resigned twice. there was another resignation coming up because of this position. 3 times he has resigned because his hand was in the cookie jar. 3 times. And Charles would have loved nothing better than to try to put Harry front and center in the middle of some of this stuff. And Harry refused. Remember when Charles tried to imply, or someone in his office tried to imply, that Harry had something to do with Cash for Honors, and Harry raised hell. Harry raised hell. The thing is, they love to pretend like Harry is the slow one. They love to pretend like Harry is not too bright. Nothing could be further from the truth. Harry has a very good handle of what's going on in that family. And by marrying Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, the two of them were too much for that household. They were too much for that household. And it just did not suit them to have anybody that would require work from the courtiers. In other words, doing their jobs. And of course, anyone who would ask questions. The idea that they would receive a speech and then decide to take things out of it and add things to it, that created a lot of hostility. See, the Sussexes, they didn't hire people. People were provided for them. I don't believe that they ever had an opportunity to hire someone. William gets to choose who he wants to have, but not Harry, not Meghan. This is why the obsession, well, one of the reasons why there's such an obsession with how the Sussexes conduct business. That's why they have such an obsession with that, because it's almost as though they need to prove that the Sussexes' approach to philanthropy, their approach to their public images, the work that they do, that they're somehow inferior or unorganized. The fact that people come and go so often. You know why they come and go so often? Because they're not privileged to sit around and open up gifts and do little stunts like Cash for Honors and Access and such. The Sussexes don't have that. They don't have the Royal Victorian Order to give out. They have ice cream day. They have pizza day. That's the benefits they hand out to their employees. They have an ice cream day. But if you're in the royal household, you're going to have a bag from Fossum and Mason Day. And what's in it? Well, it certainly isn't lettuce. Yes, exactly, Legs. Exactly. They tried to insert Harry into the middle of something that had nothing to do with him. And he called them out on it. And they were furious. I mean, but picture it. If you're Harry, isn't it enough that you sign my name to documents, to press releases that I know nothing about? That you agree to things that I hear about like everybody else? I see it on the news or in the paper. It was just a matter of time. It was a matter of time. You know, the stuff that you can get away with with a single Harry, unmarried, and loyal to his grandmother. The things that you can get away with that Harry is very different from the things that you can do with a married father, Harry, an empowered Harry. That's a totally different person. And people in that institution, people in the media, and even some of Harry's old friends, they were not ready to accept that. They wanted to go along to get along Prince Harry, to just stiff upper lip, swallow your pride, and just take it. That's who they were accustomed to. Harry, who would go get the coffee for them. Harry, who would bring sandwiches. That's the Harry they were used to. But the thing is, all of those years of doing all these little extra things for his grandmother, he learned a lot along the way. If Harry had just, worked like his brother and not really pay attention to his public image, just let people sort it out for him, he probably wouldn't have been able to manage as well away from the institution. But he learned a lot. Harry learns better by doing. The Sussex's operation per IRS rules governing the 501c3 organizations, the Royals could never do that. They're too shifty. Yeah, absolutely. Too shifty. They're shapeshifters. Let me see. Remember, Charles III used Harry's security case to distract from the Andrew lawsuit. Yeah. Yeah. Harry provided a lot of cover for that institution. As a matter of fact, he still, both he and Meghan, they still provide a lot of cover because they always know how to insert their name into things that have nothing to do with them at just the right time as a distraction, like this one here. An article that in no way reflects on Harry. They just thought, well, we better remind them that she was also at the well child. As a way to distract. Why not? It won't cost us anything. So anyway, it is Fortnum and Mason bags for all. Yes, stuffed with cash. Fortnum and Mason bags. If you're doing business with a Saudi prince, we don't bother with cashier's checks. We don't bother with credit cards. Just stuff a Fortnum and Mason bag. And we're good. We're all good. Davies, that is, a former chief superintendent, spoke out in the wake of the claims of the palace cover-up of an alleged homosexual situation that was kept secret from him when he was in charge of the Royalty Protection Squad Operation Command Unit. You see, it wasn't just limited to bags from Fortnum and Mason. It wasn't just limited to selling off, gifts. There was also a lot of hanky-panky, the horizontal mambo that was going on, like Backstairs Billy. There was a lot of things, unspeakable things, that happened in the royal household. As a matter of fact, there was a certain situation that involved Michael Forsyte, and I believe it was a footman. Michael Forsyte and a footman. Now, conveniently enough, that footman is no longer alive. He, they said he had some kind of illness or whatever, but Michael Forsyte is as shady as they come, and most people would do well to steer clear of him. But this is someone that is trusted by King Charles III, someone who's closer to him than either of his sons. Okay? Look it up. Look it up. There's a whole nother story of Michael Forsyte. Michael Forsyte and a footman. Maybe that's why they had to get that lady out of there. Let me see. Anyway, I'll leave you all to that. I left this up here so you could just take a little look at it. And then, of course, I believe that all that snatching bags of money, maybe that's the reason why every time Charles reaches his hand out, it just swells up beyond proportion like that. Maybe that's why his hands are so large. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. All that grabbing cash and grabbing foresights and such. Maybe that's why his hands swell up. Let me see. Hanavari Manaji, thank you. Manaji, thank you so much. Welcome. Yep, that explains the swollen hands. Not my king, not my king. Some of you all complained that you hadn't seen Yellow T-shirt guy in a while, so I had to dig him out. There's Yellow T-shirt guy. Oh, I tell you, I knew William had it in for his father, but I had no idea that it was to this extent. I mean, it's one thing to give a reporter some information about how you're going to change the monarchy, how you're going to do things different. But I don't think you ought to be out there actively participating in a group like Republic. But apparently William seems to, well, he doesn't have a filter, does he? Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a filter. He's willing to protest anywhere and everywhere possible. Oh, well. Just what is Meghan trying to hide? After months of fruitless investigation, Carolyn Graham discovers a shocking new theory on what's really behind the Duchess's jam brand. You guys, I had to look. I just had to look because when I saw the name Carolyn Graham, that's exactly what pulled me in. That's exactly what pulled me in. Carolyn Graham. I'm telling you, that woman is a literary assassin. Um, if anybody can pull a thread and eventually leave their victim naked, it's Carolyn Graham. She can pull on a little thread, and next thing you know, you're naked from head to toe, because she will be able to totally disrobe you by yanking on the tiniest fiber in your clothing, figuratively, of course. She's done it again. Now, okay, before I go on, and without cheating, please tell me what direction do you think she's going with this article? Please tell me what direction do you think her twisted mind has taken with this article? The first thing I thought of was like, was it? And I said, no, that can't be it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to have to read this one. As one professor of sustainability told us, it's possible the berries are picked in one place. If you're not sitting down, please sit down because this is just awful. The berries are possibly picked in one place and trucked to a jam factory miles away and then put on another truck and sent to a shipment center that's a large carbon footprint in each tiny jar. That's it. After months of investigation, Carolyn Graham, who could make a mountain out of a molehill, who can stretch a story out of proportion, has managed to figure out that Meghan, in her own sinister, manipulative way, has somehow beat the system by coming up with a criminal enterprise that involves the possibility that the berries are picked in one place, trucked to another, to a factory miles away, and then put on another truck and sent to a shipment center. That's a large carbon footprint for each tiny jar. So apparently, Carolyn Graham is of the opinion that a barrel of oil is used to make every single jar of Meghan's raspberry spread. That a full mountain of coal is burned to heat the stove that makes one little tiny jar that makes one little tiny jar of Megan's raspberry spread. Oh my God, she has really solved the caper. She has found out, she has exposed Megan's criminal ways, her miscarriage of justice, her ability to single handedly wipe out the ozone layer, to pollute towns and villages from sea to shining sea, so that we might have the pleasure of a jar of her delicious raspberry preserve. I feel a Pulitzer Prize coming. Now, wait, it gets better, because Carolyn Graham has found the brains of the operation. Little bit Diana. Now, this picture was included in the article. Now, they don't just come out and say that Lilibet is the brains of the operation, that she is the criminal mastermind of this foray into, preserved berries, but it is clearly evident. You see there, the Duchess has gone to great lengths to portray the preserve as an artisanal product. There was an enchanting video posted to her Instagram story showing a bubbling pot of the jam and featuring 4-year-old Lilibet, the brains of the operation, the criminal mastermind, she who has somehow manipulated time and space so that every single jar of Megan's raspberry preserve emits as much carbon as a cross-Atlantic flight from a major airline. Each and every jar produces more methane gas, more carbon emissions, more organic waste than the average supersized cruise ship. There you have it. And if it wasn't for Carolyn Graham exposing this criminal enterprise, they may have very well have gotten away with this for years. But when you know better, you do better. So now that I know better, there is no way that I will ever support a racket like this. Ever. And I'm so disappointed with Lilibet Diana. I thought that she would go on to an Ivy League school, get a proper education, but it seems like she's learned her ways in the kitchen behind mason jars, observing the boiling of berries, reducing it to a fine brew that is put in those jars and preserved for months at a time. And even worse, and this is so terrible, how many families have been broken up because the Sussexes and their criminal enterprise have actually distributed their preserves throughout the town of Montecito. How many families have been broken because they wake up one Saturday morning and they grab a bagel or a crumpet or a biscuit, and then they slather that evil sauce all over it. How many families have been broken up? I probably couldn't even count. At any given time, the authorities are going to burst through the door and they're going to arrest Lilibet Diana. And probably Prince Archie as well. Lord knows if there's one person involved in a household, there's likely two or three. Even Mama Mia, has her little paw in this criminal enterprise. Oh, guys, I'm so disappointed. I'm not sure that I want the rosé now. It probably comes from some bootlegger. I don't know if I can be a party to this. Carolyn Graham, one of the finest investigative reporters ever. If there was anyone who would crack this case wide open, it would be Carolyn Graham. I thought her talents were limited to Thomas Markle Sr. But nay, she has talents and abilities that we know nothing about. The berries for both her raspberry spread and newly launched apricot spread are California grown and bottled. So who is supplying them? Who? Who is supplying the fruit that goes into those jars of unknown origin? Who? I ask you, who? That's the question. And we need answers. Otherwise, there's no way that we can continue to support the Sussex family. There's no way. I mean, sure, it's pretty innocuous to just look at a pile of berries and you just see, fruit. But the truth is, it is something so much more sinister going on. It involves Lilibet Diana. It involves Mama Mia and little Archie with their sweet, innocent faces. Truth is, they didn't fool me one bit. And what about Grandma Raglan? Huh? What about Ma Raglan? How does she fit into this? Was she the one who provided those wooden spoons to stir this brew? Maybe. Maybe. But thanks to Carolyn Graham, they're going to expose the entire family. So I guess if they wanted Harry back, this is the way to do it. Harry has nothing to do with this. This is all Archie, Lily, Mama Mia, Meghan, and Ma Raglan. A criminal gang, a criminal enterprise. And I haven't even finished yet because guess what? How do people usually receive these preserves? Well, there's a little known thing called mail fraud. We already got them for racketeering. They have a racket on all the berries. But the mail fraud, anytime you use the post office for criminal activity, that right there is a criminal offense. And that's why you always hear them say that they have been convicted of mail fraud and racketeering. They got them, you guys. They got them. They have taken down yet another organized crime family. And I believe that the people of Montecito and Southern California could sleep better at night knowing that this operation has been shut down. All because of Carolyn Graham and her intuition. Carolyn Graham, who climbed up Mount St. Thomas Markle, just like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, she climbed up Mount St. Thomas Markle and came down with a letter. A letter. See there? In a wide-ranging interview with Carolyn Graham near his home in Mexico, Mr. Markle revealed the anguish he feels at the thought of never seeing his daughter again. Secrets of Meghan's letter revealed. Note to her father saying her heart has been broken in a million pieces. Reveals she is a narcissistic showman whose self-control is wavering, says handwriting expert. Yeah, all that stuff about calligraphy, that's code. There's a code in that calligraphy. They have been planning this raspberry charade for years. Yes, they have been planning this whole raspberry thing for years. And it's all hidden in that beautiful calligraphy. Coded. Yeah, here's some more of Carolyn Graham. Backlash grows after Prince Harry wins award set up to honor war hero. That's when Carolyn Graham, now you see why I had to read the article. When I see her name, I can't look the other way. She's the one who brought Pat Tillman's mother into the whole controversy about the Pat Tillman Award, right? Or she's the one who Prince Mario Maximilian, whatever his name is, Schomburg, she's the one who exposed him as being a fake prince, even though there's documentation, his parents, and a whole village or town in Germany that says he's a prince. She says otherwise. Or how about this one? It's sad. She's trying too hard to stay in the limelight. Everyone's had their say about Meghan's Netflix show. Now read her dad's withering verdict as he reveals what she really liked in the kitchen. Now, seeing that Meghan has not lived in the same household with him for probably some 20 years or more. 20 years. That's a long time to develop your skills as a cook. And so if you haven't actually lived with a person for 20 years, chances are there's probably a couple of dishes that you can make that they didn't know you were capable of. But we know better because Carolyn Graham says different. And if Carolyn Graham says it's something different, well, we got to defer to her investigative reporting. Now, whether there was any compensation for Thomas Markle for this information, for his doubt of Meghan's ability to cook, well, then let me put it to you like this. I don't know what Thomas Markle said about his daughter's cooking, and I don't care. If he said it was fantastic, we would never hear about it. If he said it was horrible or limited, then we would hear about it. And I'm guessing the latter. Carolyn Graham. She's the one who came up with this idea that Meghan was trying to become a United States senator. That's right. Meghan Markle considers run for office. It's just the kind of story that creates hostility amongst the right wing, which I have it on good authority that Carolyn Graham is on the right wing. Or how about Meghan Markle fails to inspire Americans? Her popularity plummets. Well, who would know better than Carolyn Graham? Or how about rich Americans fork out $1 million to see Harry and Meghan receive a human rights award as Barack Obama at glittering gala night in New York blasted as blatantly ludicrous. Now, of course, that was at the Intrepid, the night at the Intrepid. The couple are set to receive an award at the Ripple of Hope Gala on December the 6th. Previous winners include, oh no, you know what? I got that wrong. That was when Meghan wore the white, but they used the red dress for the article. Previous winners include U.S. President Joe Biden and Barack Obama. That is code for liberal, woke, left wing. That's the code. The devil is in the details. But there was a time when Carolyn Graham used to write horrible stories about Will and Kate, like this one here. William and Kate charged 15 couples 32,000 pounds each for dinner in New York. Cash for access questions as royal couple court U.S. super rich. Cash for access questions. Do you mean to tell me that William has been stirring that pot for quite a while now? Did you guys ever hear that before? This is why it's always important to save your receipts, because you never know when you're going to need them. It is the most hotly anticipated royal visit since the days of Princess Diana. Boy, I tell you, I bet you those people were disappointed by the time they got there. Huge crowds, heartwarming photos. Now, mind you, this is back in 2014. This was before people realized exactly how dull those two are. Opportunities and a meeting photo opportunities, heartwarming photo opportunities, and a meeting with president are all in. Okay, so it wasn't just those two. A chance to meet the president. Okay, I got it. But when later day, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge start their whirlwind New York tour, they will have another rather more confidential objective in mind. For tonight, at a lavish reception at the private residence from which the press is barred, Kate and William will shake hands with 15 wealthy couples who are each paying $50,000 or 32,000 pounds for the privilege. Oh, that's so small. It is the start of an important U.S. campaign, which they hope will pull in millions for their favorite charities. Anyway, boring. They haven't done that since. And the reason why is because I wonder how many people actually showed up that night. We'll never know because the press wasn't allowed. Or how about this? Charles for sale furor. Prince Charles' closet aide. I'm sorry. That was a Freudian slip. Closest aide, Michael Fawcett, is spotted outside his London home as he breaks cover after being forced to resign for offering Saudi donor helped securing knighthood and British citizenship? Or how about shaking hands with a prince? Pinstripe fixer Michael Wynn Parker, very checkered business past. Look at the shady people that Charles III used to hang out with. How about Norman Baker? Charles can't hide behind AIDS. His fingerprints are all over this mess. Right? That's a Norman Baker article. Now let's get to Carolyn Graham. Farewell again to the one man Charles says he can't do without. Carolyn Graham, as Michael Fawcett last night temporarily stepped down as the CEO of the Prince's Foundation, many will wonder if Charles' right-hand man can dodge the bullet again. Yeah, he can. He always does. Oh, so in case you guys are wondering, that is Carolyn Graham, a daughter of Dixie from south of the Mason-Dixon line. That is Carolyn Graham. That old Carolyn Graham, she don't like Meghan. She don't like black folks. That old Carolyn Graham, she don't like cotton. Yes, that Carolyn Graham. Victoria Brownsworth says, the Harry and Meghan haters really are a miserable group. What a terrible way to live in the world. I hope Carolyn Graham understands she just got herself blacklisted here for, well, ever. No loss to the world. Enjoy your trip back over the pond, ma'am. Well, I think she's under the impression that Carolyn Graham is from the UK. She really isn't. She's, or was she over in the UK when she wrote that? I wonder. I have to think about that. Queens Are Made says, I'm glad Carolyn Graham put her name on this article. Brits fail to understand the sycophancy toward the British monarchy doesn't get you anywhere in the US. Insulting big names in Hollywood and billionaire philanthropists in the US, however, will get you blacklisted. I think that this has to do with the Pat Tillman Award. No. Either it's the Pat Tillman or I believe this was the Legends of Aviation. Carolyn Graham could not get inside of the Legends of Aviation. So she resorted to standing outside, and that is how she interviewed Prince Mario Max. Yeah, that's the one. Carolyn Graham recalls her night at the tacky Living Legends of there it is right there. Living Legends Award in Los Angeles. She called it tacky because she wasn't allowed to go inside. Organizers had promised the Duke would attend with his wife and what had been billed as the couple's first joint Hollywood red carpet appearance, but a PR lackey suddenly announced that Harry would be solo and that he had just snuck in through the back entrance. Sweetie. So again, you guys, that is, oh yes, thank you so much. NJ said thumbs up. You guys, I rarely announce the thumbs up, so please do me a favor. Just hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. If you're not a member, you can support this channel for just $4.99 once a month. That's not a lot of money. $4.99 to help support Royal Sussex. And there's Carolyn Graham and her mother. Yes, that is Mama Graham. Carolyn Graham and Mama Graham. As I said, Carolyn Graham is a real daughter of Dixie. There she is, like any respectable person from the South, standing in front of the rebel flag. Yes, a flag that, well, it doesn't set too well with most African Americans. You have some that think it's, okay. It represents Southern pride, Southern pride. But the truth is, it represents racial intolerance. It represents racial segregation. It represents racism. That's what it represents. It's all of those things. The flag wasn't even used during the Civil War. It was actually, I believe, a regimental flag. And somehow it's been hijacked by people in the southern states. And it's used as a way to represent the culture of the South. It's very confusing for people who are not from the United States. And even people in the United States, when you say the South, you're usually talking about Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, but not really Florida. You're talking about Georgia, maybe North and South Carolina, sometimes Virginia, but not really Florida. Even though Florida is further south, you don't really mean Florida. Florida is like something of its own. So when people say I'm going down south, they usually don't mean Florida. They mean one of those other states. They don't even mean Texas. Texas is south, but we don't usually consider that going down south. You're either going to Texas or you're not. So the idea of the rebel flag, it usually represents that. Now, notice I left New Orleans out of there. New Orleans is kind of like Texas. It's its own thing. So sometimes people say going down south and they mean New Orleans, but I had a neighbor that was from New Orleans, made the best gumbo in the world. She never said I'm going down south. She just said I'm going to New Orleans. So kind of a weird thing. Let me know if you've experienced that yourself. Tennessee, I guess that's going down south. Are they? Are they cousins? Really? I had no idea. Huh. That's interesting. Nolens. Well. Edward Ennifel, Ari Emanuel, they spelled that wrong. It should be Edward Ennifel, and Ari Emanuel are at Bezos' wedding. Meghan Markle wasn't invited. Or how about this? Even Meghan's bestie, was it Misha Nunu, whatever, got an invite. You guys, I just want you to know that the Derangers and the Royal Rota have been having a ball. It has been their best day since Christmas. The idea that Meghan and Harry are not invited to the Bezos wedding, the Sanchez Bezos wedding. Oh, they're rubbing it in. Oh, they don't have any friends in Hollywood. Oh, they're not amongst the A-listers. Oh. The thing is, Harry and Meghan don't really do red carpet stuff. Harry and Meghan don't attend a lot of weddings. And I'm pretty sure because it could be a major distraction. If Harry and Meghan were in Venice, could you imagine how many paparazzi would turn their attention away from the other A-listers and turn their sights on Harry and Meghan? I don't care what they say. We know what they would do. Remember that Meghan went to a restaurant and Carmen Diaz was meeting her there? And it took days before they recognized the fact that Carmen Diaz was also part of this lunch party. And it was someone else. I can't remember who it was. It may have been Gwyneth Paltrow that was also part of this lunch. And for whatever reason, they didn't see them because all they were focused on was Harry and Meghan. I remember. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for joining us. Yep, now things feel right. Before I was just kind of like, somebody's missing, something's missing. And now you're here. So all is right in the world. Okay. So as I was saying, they have been on a feeding frenzy. I thought it was amusing, but they have been on a feeding frenzy with this idea that Harry and Meghan were not invited to the Bezos wedding. I could not imagine that they would want to go. Instead of gloating over who's not at the wedding, who is at the wedding besides Harry and Meghan, what they should concentrate on is how many people are not there. There are plenty, and I do mean plenty, so-called A-listers that are not there. Also, may I add this? I don't know that the Sussexes were ever particularly close to Jeff Bezos or what's her name? Sanchez. I don't know that they were ever that close. This is like one of those things where common sense can never prevail because it is much easier to assume the worst about someone that you don't like, even though you don't know why you don't like them, as opposed to just telling the truth, being factual. That cannot happen. They will not let that happen. But they want you to believe that Meghan is furious. That's one of the things I saw, that she's so angry that she's unable to go to the wedding, that she's running around and she's breaking dishes, that she's hollering and yelling at everyone because she's not allowed at the wedding. It defies logic. It really does. Let me see. No, they were not there. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who would not want to be in Venice this time of year. And of course, we know the Sussexes, they work with Netflix. I'm not saying that there would be a conflict of interest, but I'm just saying they're part of the Netflix family, not Prime, not the Prime Video. I mean, the silly things that they say. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. Oh no, I cannot find it. Never mind. There was one particular exchange I wanted to share with you, and I did not save it. I didn't think I would want to hear it again. Oh, is this it? Yes, yes, this is it. This is it.
She's very, very angry, so I've been told. If it was 5 years ago, she would have invited Meghan. But I think there's so few people now who haven't seen what she's really like and actually how upset the royal family have been and how revoltingly rude she's been, that she wasn't invited. Of course, they have said they've been too busy, but that's a standard thing to say when they haven't been invited somewhere. But also, I think that Lauren, in a second thought, wouldn't want Meghan there because she takes a lot of attention, doesn't she? And she'll be safely running around the men who are the richest and seeing how she can, get a bit of fun. And I just think that that's not happening. They're just not being invited anywhere. Harry is too down and out, and Meghan is absolutely a liar and unpleasant. And so they've really had it. She's very, very angry. So I've been told. If it was 5 years ago, she would have invited Meghan. But I think there's so few people now who haven't seen what she's really like and actually how upset the royal family have been and how revoltingly rude she's been, that she wasn't invited. Of course, they have said they've been too busy, but that's a standard thing to say when they haven't been invited somewhere. But also, I think that Lauren, in a second thought, wouldn't want Meghan there because she takes a lot of attention, doesn't she? And she'll be safely running around the men who are the richest and seeing how she can, get a bit of fun. And I just think that that's not happening. They're just not being invited anywhere. Harry is too down and out, and Meghan is absolutely a liar and unpleasant. And so they've really had it.
They've really had it. They've really had it. And Harry is just he's so down and out and if if there were other billionaires there, and she would be running around the men and trying to have a bit of fun. Yeah, yeah. You guys, she doesn't believe that. She doesn't believe that. I know it's usual for us to say she's insane or she's crazy, but um, things have dried up for Angela Levin. She actually was doing a guest appearance with um, whatever that troll's name is on his podcast, and yeah, it was just all a bunch of smoke and mirror to have something to say about Meghan. They are done in Hollywood. They don't have any friends. Harry is just so down and not there, and Meghan is bullying Harry, and he's a spare to her now. And oh man, I'm just like, does it ever get old? Does it ever get old? Is there ever a point where they just say, you know what? I'm not going to say, I can't do this anymore. I can't. No, they just keep doing it. They just keep doing it. It's not even logical, but that is not the point. The people who listen to it are certainly not looking for logic. Anyway, let me see here. Delane Monis time. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, the people in Venice, they were protesting. They didn't like all of the circus that they brought to town. And that's, I'm so glad you brought that up, because the thing is, if Meghan and Harry had gone to a wedding where 70 private jets were parked at the airport, we would have never heard the end of it. We would have never heard the end of it. I'm glad that they didn't go. Lex says, didn't the tabloids just give a lie to say that Meghan invited all these Hollywood A-listers and Brooklyn Beckham and wife, then not say that they were wrong, but then pretended they knew it was Tracy and her husband? Yeah. If you guys don't know what that's about, Tracy Robbins and her husband, whatever his name is, the guy is he Disney or something like that? Anyway, they had a dinner, and the papers were making this big thing about Harry and Meghan inviting Brooklyn Beckham and his wife to their house, I guess, as a way to try to get back into the good graces of the Beckhams or something to that point. And apparently, it turns out the dinner was just a chance opportunity for both couples to run into each other. I don't think they knew that the others were coming. A couple didn't know the other was coming, and vice versa. But they just happened to be at the same dinner. It was not at the Sussex house. They were not the hosts. It was not a party thrown in their honor. And they did not invite them. They just happened to be there. I think it was like a last minute thing on part of the Beckhams, the son. And so for the longest time, they, of course, the Royal Rota, they pretend as though they did not know that it was, not a Sussex household, that it was someone else's. They just carried on saying that Meghan and Harry were trying to get back at the Beckhams or hurt the Beckhams or whatever they were saying, but they all had the same talking points. And when it was exposed that it had nothing to do with Harry and Meghan, they still carried on about it like they did not know it. Even what's his name? Robert Jobson, when he was on that panel. And then after one of the ladies said, well, it wasn't actually Harry and Meghan's house, Robert Jobson said, yeah, but it's still kind of fun to talk about it. fun? It's fun to talk about it. You are creating hostility against Harry and Meghan and even their children for something they did not do, something they did not orchestrate. But they don't care about that so long as that they can insert the Sussex name into whatever is going on. That's all that matters, is that we got Harry and Meghan. So, yeah, there you have it. There you have it. Thank you, Legs. Oh, Brian Robbins is Paramount. Thank you. Thank you both. Okay. Let me see here. Mika Paris. Oh my goodness. I forgot all about this. Mika Paris's stunning whinging blast at Meghan Markle. She tells me I'm sorry, Harry's a lovely guy, but Meghan's perpetuating hate, and that's not her only harsh word. Now, Richard Eden thinks he has the scoop of a lifetime. I didn't know who Mika Paris was. I had no clue. I don't think I've ever seen her before. Well, okay. Soul singer, TV presenter, and actress who was named as one of the great Black Britons. One of the great Black Britons, I never heard that before, is, however, now appalled by the Duchess of Sussex's behavior. She particularly saddened by Meghan's accusations of racism against unnamed senior member of the royal family in her explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021. Okay, this is 2025. You mean to tell me Mika Paris has been holding this grudge against Meghan all these years, and she has only just now come forth as a concerned citizen, or should I say a concerned Great Black Britain, as a Great Black Britain citizen. She has only just now come forward so that she can tell us how she disapproves of Meghan's accusations about the royal family. Seriously? You only just now got up the courage to talk about this? You have been bothered all these years, laying in the bed, tossing and turning, gnashing your teeth and reading articles from Jeremy Clarkson, among others. And only now you have decided you got to get something off your chest.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Only now you realize that you want to get something off your chest. You want to set the record straight. I met Harry many times at the polo back in the day. Mika tells me at the London party. So I guess this means that Richard Eden ran into a famous Black person. And what do you think the topic of conversation was? What do you think the topic of conversation was? You've met someone who is an actress, a television presenter, and a singer. And what do you talk about when you meet this person at a party? Someone who, according to the tabloid media, is so irrelevant that one of the great Black Britons. Do you guys like the way that I'm breaking this down? Let me know, because I'm very much in the mood to break some stuff down. So you mean to tell me after all these years, ever since the Oprah Winfrey interview, that you have been so bothered by Meghan that it took Richard Eden to bring this story to the consciousness of the brave men and women of Great Britain? So it says, I met Harry many times at Polo back in the day. Mika tells me at a London party, lovely guy. I never met Meghan, but wait, what? I never met Meghan. I never met Meghan, but I don't agree with her that the royal family is racist. Not from what I have experienced. Not from what I have experienced, meaning that Mika has never been married into the royal family, has never been married into that institution. And the times that she has encountered members of that family from that institution, she never assumed that they were racist. Well, good golly, Miss Molly, what can I say? They did not expose themselves. They didn't put their hoods on in your presence. She adds, I don't know if it's helpful to call out people that you think are racist. You're perpetuating that hate. Let it go. In other words, allow people to abuse you. Don't call them out. And let me say this. I'm still trying to see where exactly did Meghan call someone out as racist? Or did Meghan simply point out the fact that they were trying to other her children by being preoccupied with their skin tone, or at the time, Archie's skin tone, right? What else? And of course, just the general mistreatment of Meghan. Well, anyway, that is Mika's opinion. And then I got to thinking, why in the world would Mika run into Richard Eden at a party and decide to get all this off her chest after all those years? Leg says she should talk to Ngozi about her experience with Lady Susan Hussey. I am guessing that was one of two, that is. She should talk to the 72 MPs as well. It must have been a one of. Right. And of course, the reference to the 72 MPs, 72 members of parliament signed a letter saying or citing that there had been racism in the tabloid media toward the Duchess of Sussex, that their coverage is racist and misogynist. Well, when I tried to sort this out, I'm like, what? Somebody has tried to beat me to it, but I was ready. I was ready. There you have it. Mika is an MBE. As soon as I saw that, and by the way, thank you, Miss Levy H. As soon as I saw the article, I said, wait a minute. I bet you that heifer got a MBE. And yes, she does. She is one of the alphabet Great Black Britons. Yes, she's part of the alphabet. That's why she had something on her chest that she needed to get off her chest. That's why she had something bothering her that has kept her awake for years, because she was angry and disappointed with Meghan for calling a member of the royal family racist, even though Meghan never said that someone in the family is racist. But it's what people think she said because of the tabloid media. See how that works out? Meghan didn't actually use those words, but that doesn't matter. As long as the media makes people believe that she did, that's what matters. Just like when it comes to Carolyn Graham is of the opinion that Meghan is being a hypocrite, because we all know that Meghan loves sustainability. She shops for clothing with sustainability in mind. She shops for a lot of things based on the ability to help maintain a very sustainable lifestyle. But I ask you, how many times have you heard Meghan lecture anybody about the environment, about their carbon footprint, about any of those things? You have not heard her do that, because she has not done that. She has not done that. But yet the media makes people believe that Meghan is a hypocrite. She says this and does that. She says this and she does that. When nothing could be further from the truth. She hadn't said anything. But that's not important. That you can make people believe that Meghan said that. That's what's important. That you can try to hang that hypocrite label on her. That's what's important, not the truth, just the labels. So this Mika person is proudly holding her MBE. Lorraine Esmeralda AT gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for thinking about me. I really appreciate it. And also, ultimately, thank you for helping Royal Sussex, our safe space. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And congratulations to any recipients of those memberships. So there she is, an MBE. And of course, the royal family wanted to make sure she received her MBE in style. Yes, they did. They wanted to make sure she received it in style. So they had the only other Black member of the royal family, Princess Anne, to give her the alphabets. The only other member of the family of African descent. Yes, Afro Annie herself was the one who handed out the award, who has done the honor. And I tell you something else. I'm pretty sure that somewhere in some office, some obscure office there was someone on staff who said, "We got another one." Yes, we do. We got another one. Like Idris Elba, like so many other great Black Britons, they have someone who is going to show up when they need to put a black face on it. They got one. And I mean to tell you, she looks super, super ethnic. So she's going to serve the purpose very well. There's no disputing, there's no ambiguities. All you can do is look at it and say, yep, she black. She black. See? There's Ann. Ann is thinking what everybody else in the room is thinking. We got another one. And of course, there is Mika who's thinking, I like her hair. Yep, Ann's thinking how glad she is they got another one. And Mika is thinking, I like her hair. Oh, you guys be wondering sometimes, where is Baron? What's taking so long? Moments like this happen when that creative surge hits me. And I'm just like, ooh, what if I, and then I'll put oh, that'd be fun. And that's what kind of slows me down sometime. But Lord have mercy, it's so much fun. You guys, one of the most rewarding things about Royal Sussex is that I get to be creative. I really do have fun with this. Before AI, I was able to do my cut and paste and come up with some dandies. And this is yet another one. We got another one. We got another one. Hey, yes. We got another one. Oh yeah, she's very ethnic looking. Oh, she'll serve our purposes very well. Yep. What is her name? Shaniqua. They don't know what her name is. And Princess Anne don't even know who she is. She probably think her name is Shaniqua, not Mika. What's her name? Oh, I don't know. Shaniqua something. How should I know? Shaniqua something. Something ethnic. Doesn't matter. She's black, and she thinks that we're the best people in the world. So, like she said, not from my experience. Well, this is her experience. This is her experience. She went to Windsor Castle, a member of the royal family, the only other black member of the family. Managed to give her a honor of the MBE, member of the British Empire. Yes, an empire that was built on the backs of slaves. Mika is honored to receive a trinket that reminds people that she has been honored by a member of the British. She's now a member of the British Empire. She is now officially a colonizer. It's official. Now she's a colonizer. Congratulations, Mika. And bravely born, I might add. So, Mika Paris has spoken about several significant relationships in her life. And by the way, thank you to the squatty who dug this out, including a past marriage and relationship with Andreas Newman and Max Beasley. She also mentioned a relationship with a millionaire lover who made her life hell. According to the London Evening Standard, additionally, she has spoken about her current relationship with a man she refers to as her Prussian prince. Here's a more detailed look at the relationships Mika Paris has discussed. Past marriage, Mika Paris has discussed being married and having a daughter, Monet. With her unnamed ex husband, she also mentioned running away from a situation with bodyguards outside her apartment in Hackney after a recording deal. I'm starting to think somebody is exaggerating. Andreas Neumann, Mika Paris had a relationship with German film director Andreas Neumann, with whom she has a daughter, Russia May. Russia May? She was in a 4-year relationship with an actor and musician, Max Beasley, who was then playing in Paul Weller's band. Mika Paris described her past relationship with a millionaire lover who made her life difficult. Oh, well. Um, I don't know who any of those people are, but I'm just guessing. Okay, I'm just gonna say I'm just guessing. Akabala, is it Ekabala? Ikabala becomes a YouTube member. Congratulations. And thank you so much for becoming a member of Royal Sussex. That is so cool. I feel blessed. I really feel blessed. Thank you so much. Now, take a look at this. This is another version of obsessions when it comes to Meghan. Do you guys remember the birthday obsession? So Harry, I'm sorry, not Harry, but Meghan and Barack Obama both share the same birthday. I believe it's August the 4th. Just like the Queen Mother, August the 4th. So they thought that Harry and Meghan, actually, let me take that back. They didn't think that, but they just said it because it was something shady that they could perpetuate, even though they knew it wasn't true. For weeks, we were told that Meghan was not invited to Barack Obama's birthday party, that Harry and Meghan were so unpopular that during the height of a global pandemic, mother and father to Archie and Lily chose to stay home rather than fly from one coast to the next so that they can participate in a birthday party for a former president that I don't think Meghan is that close to in the first place. Yeah, she met Barack Obama. Harry seems to know the Obamas very well, but not so well that he would uproot his wife on her birthday and take her across the country to a former president's birthday. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? When they have a perfectly decorated, large, palatial household of their own, that every day they're there, they feel like they live on a resort somewhere, but it just happens to be their life. Why would they go to what was it, New York State, the Hamptons or whatever? Why would they go all the way there for Barack Obama's birthday? Clout chasing? I don't think so. Harry is one of the most famous people on the planet. Certainly not Harry. And as for Meghan, the most popular member of the royal family at this point. The most popular. More is written about Meghan than any other royal family member anywhere. So I say it again. Do they need to go clout chasing? Are they so close to the Obamas that they would leave their children in the height of a global pandemic and take their chances on going to some property on the Atlantic Ocean for somebody that they're not even that close to? On the surface, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. But in order to maintain this hostility toward the Sussexes, in order to maintain the hate campaign, you have to make them look like they're so pathetic that nobody wants to be around them. So it's not limited to weddings. It was also a president's birthday. And in both instances, let me tell you what could have gone terribly wrong. Had they gone to the Bezos wedding, which I don't think that they cared in the first place, and we don't know whether they were invited. Nobody knows that except for the, wedding party itself and Harry and Meghan. They're certainly not going to tell it. So we don't know. The other thing is, well, actually, let me just do both of these at the same time. Had they gone to Venice, they would have been accused of being elitist, out of touch, and also being hypocrites about the environment, right? Had they gone to Obama's birthday, they would have been accused of being elitist and out of touch. Not to mention, Obama's birthday was considered, you see right there, active cases. Those are new cases of people infected during the pandemic. They would have accused the Sussexes of helping to spread the pandemic around. So they actually did better being at home, whether or not they were invited, in both instances, because it would have given them the license, it, of course, being the tabloids, to accuse them of being elitists, to accuse them of being hypocrites where the environment is concerned, and also being a part of a super spreader event on one coast, and in Venice, being a part of the outsiders that has all this tourism that has impacted the city of Venice, not to mention, in both cases, elitists struggling to be noticed. And then they could come up with all these stories about how Harry was passed out, he drank too much, Meghan yelled at the wait staff. All of those things would have happened. So it was better being at home. Jennifer Clark, thank you for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Yeah, right. Right. The Montecito Manor, the stately palatial Montecito Manor, is a grade 1 listed property in Montecito. I'm just saying that myself. It is a grade 1 listed property. Grade 1 because it has a history of being owned by members of the royal family. That right there makes the place listed in Montecito. uh, Jessica Foreman, it's been a minute, hasn't it? Hi, Baron, wonderful moderators, and my Sussex Squad family. Love to all. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And you get a bell. Let me see here. The harassment of Michelle Obama and Meghan Markle, the poison we keep swallowing. Now, this was in Medium. Meghan Markle released another batch of jam and it sold out in hours. Then came the backlash. She's a fraud. It's not real jam. Who does she think she is? Let's be clear. It's not about jam. It never was. Just 2 weeks ago, when her children's skin, 2 weeks ago, when her children's skin color and hair were being scrutinized, when she shared new photos, the same woman is accused of manipulating her husband, fabricating mental health struggles, and being too visible for comfort. She left the palace, but the takedown followed her out the door. Michelle Obama knows this energy. She lived it and still lives it. Her bare arms caused outrage. Her confidence was called arrogance. She was compared to a man. Even her podcast, thoughtful, vulnerable, and honest, is treated like an inconvenience. She was never soft enough, never silent enough. She didn't perform the role of First Lady. She redefined it through experience and vision. And for that, she was judged relentlessly. And isn't a critique. It's harsh, this isn't a critique, it's harassment. It's routine now. Oh, now you know I can't see that. What was I thinking? You know I can't see that. What the hell is that? Hold on. Let me do this another way. I don't know what I was thinking. You know darn well I can't see that. Okay, I found it. Now, where did I leave off? Let me go back here. I can't see a darn thing. Okay. It's digital. Okay, it's a routine now. It's digital and it's profitable. If someone stood outside your home and hurled insults, attacked your children, questioned your marriage, and mocked your body, you'd call the police. But this doesn't happen on doorsteps. It occurs in the air we breathe, but can't be seen. In the third room of social media, we let it pass. Worse, we scroll through it as if it were entertainment. We're convinced ourselves it's the cost of fame. But fame does not erase humanity. We are being nursed on a cultural diet of destruction. We are calling it authenticity. It is not true. It is poison. We built a system that rewards cruelty and masks it as realness. There is no compassion in the algorithm, no empathy in the matrix. The platforms are designed for verbal violence, especially against women who refuse to shrink, especially against Black women who will not be tropes, stereotypes, or silent. People often ask me where I get my strength. I run a wellness and media company. I've spent 2 decades teaching meditation, coaching transformation, guiding people through heartbreak and reinvention and leadership. I've helped others reclaim their lives, and I've walked through the fire myself, and I know I will again. I know what it means to be seen through someone else's lens before I even speak. To enter a room where assumptions arrive before I do, to carry the weight of being a symbol when I am simply trying to be a person. I decided long ago the bias, racism, and sexism of others are not mine to carry. It is not my job to explain, correct, or soften their perception. My work is to define my humanity, to grow my capabilities as a woman, a mother, a spouse, founder, teacher, and friend in the order or in whatever order I choose. That this is what I see in Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and in Michelle Obama, the former First Lady of the United States. Not branding, not perfection, persistence. They continue, they create, they build lives from the visible and invisible shattered pieces, even within privilege. And that is what unsettles people the most. In a culture trained to compete, judge, and profit from humiliation of others, their endurance is a disruption. Even if unraveled in privilege, they do not shrink from the opportunity to be fully alive in this moment. It's not their strength that offends, it's their refusal to be small. So, no, it's not about jam or a podcast. It is about a deeper unspoken belief, the envy, the projection, the fear, and the system built to feed on them. We are witnessing a digital sickness that has been engineered, monetized, and normalized, a poison we keep swallowing. And yet, technology is not separate from us, it reflects us. We are living in both the future and the backlash. If a revolution is ahead, I cannot rest on spectacle or outrage alone. It must be rooted in something more profound, radical empathy and deliberate care. That was written by Shay Marville. Yeah, there you see the name right there. So I'm going to grab that link because I know you all want it. So I'm going to grab that link and I'm going to put it up top so that you can source that whenever you want to share it. How's that? And there you have it. Now, let me just check and make sure that link works. No lies detected. I tell you that. No lies detected. Okay, it works. So I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay. My screen is kind of freezing here. Let me try to sort this out, and then I'll pin that to the top of the chat. Matter of fact, my computer is not responding. Come on. All right. My computer is not responding. All right. That's weird. Okay. There we go. All right. So I pinned it to the top of the chat. That was very powerful. That was very, very powerful. And it's so true. It's so true. I get very frustrated because there is a campaign where the people that say that they are the victims, wealthy white men like a Donald Trump, like a Jeremy Clarkson, or Hoghead Pierce Morgan, Joe Rogan, so many of them, they carry on as though they're the victims, right? And they're just very wealthy white men who cannot get a break. And their biggest source of prey, that which they consume on a daily basis, women of color, especially Black women, they have such an appetite to berate and belittle Black women. They're so threatened by Black women. I just don't understand it. But that seems to be their favorite. Even Rush Limbaugh, at a time when people were celebrating Senator Carol Moseley Braun, the first Black senator since Reconstruction, male or female. And every day, just as we have people that talk about Meghan every day there was the latest on Carol Moseley Braun. What she doesn't understand about being a senator, what she doesn't understand about her position, what she don't understand about Black people. I mean, it was one thing after the other. Every day was another attack on Carol Moseley Braun. Now, some of y'all may have never heard of her before. That's understandable. But I remember the vicious attacks. She was a senator, a junior senator from the state, or freshman senator rather, from the state of Illinois, a 6-year term. She made headlines because she was elected to the Senate when there were very few women, let alone Black women. She was the only one. And yet, every day, there was a new revelation about how she was getting over, how she was taking advantage. Every day, without fail. She was the AOC of her day. She was what's her name? Um, the one that said big body, bad built. Yeah, she was a lightning rod for the right wing. Yeah, as far as I know, she was the first Black United States senator since Reconstruction, the post Civil War era, and probably the only Black woman at that time that had ever served. Oh yeah, Jasmine Crockett. Thank you. My computer is very slow to respond. That's why I keep hitting the button. But anyway, socioeconomic background of journalists. This is something I've shared on several occasions, just so that you understand why a lot of people just don't even watch the media anymore. Um, Socioeconomic background of journalists. Higher socioeconomic background, and that is the lower middle socioeconomic background. So when it comes to journalists, 84% comes from the upper class. People who would not ever in their lives experience what it means to be poor, what it means to be, well, let's just say in the system or out of a certain system, to live in council housing or housing projects. They don't know stuff like that. And when it comes to editors, 73% come from the upper crust. Basit Mahmood says, when a narrow section of society dominates our media landscape, it has an adverse effect on our democracy as well as our news values, which stories are told and how they are told, and what's deemed newsworthy and what isn't. I saw the damaging effects this had on my own community. Now, what's very different about the US media is that you have a greater likelihood that a lot of people in the media didn't always come from the best of circumstances. They may have come from a nuclear family, but some of our most well-known people in journalism for a long time came from rural communities, came from poor communities or whatever. But over the years, media has become more profitable than ever, especially with the introduction of the 24-hour news cycle and cable news networks. But that's why it's a mess. Now, the thing that has ruined the media in the US forever is Rupert Murdoch, the Murdoch movement. We've always had people like William Randolph Hearst that owned all these newspapers and such. We've had that a long time. But to the extent of the media influence of the Murdochs, well, this is something that started, I guess, in the 1990s, the 1980s, and it has persisted. And things have gone from bad to worse. Now, I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to Celibici today, but they were on, and it was a great podcast. Well, it wasn't live, but anyway, you could hear the defeat in their voices. The reason why they've been away for 3 months is because they felt as though they needed a break from the fascism. That's the words that they used, fascism. Because of where we are today, they just avoid the news. They avoid watching television. They avoid anything that tells you what's happening with our government. I can't blame them. I can't blame them at all because it's been tough. It has been very tough for a lot of people. And I again remind you that if you need a break, take it. Step away. Don't injure yourself. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you'll find yourself with a disposition that seems a bit low from one day to the next. And one of the ways to remedy that is to just turn it off. Even if it's social media, even if it's Royal Sussex, turn it off. Save yourself. Things are kind of heavy right now, and some people are just really suffering, feeling anxious and nervous and paranoid, brought on by what's happening in the world today. So just turn it off. If you feel like you're going to miss something and you won't be prepared for it, trust me when I say this. It won't matter whether you're watching the news or not. If it's so important, someone will call you. So just turn it off. Save yourself. Meanwhile, the good news is their popularity is declining. They haven't come up with one of those emotional support polls in a minute. There's a good reason for it. There's no good news to report. Prince William has a lot to say this week, but is anyone listening? Well, Rihanna Mills says conflict, not the climate crisis, has been the primary focus of world leaders, a problem you could say for William and all those trying to whip up momentum ahead of the COP30 in CO3PO, CO3, COs, anyway, that thing in Brazil. And Zandy Sussex says, ha, 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 ha. Even the royal sycophants can see it. No one cares what the other brother has to say. William's desperate attempt to use the environment for self-promotion is laughable. Ha, 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 ha. The emperor has no clothes, and everyone knows it. Thank you, Zandy Sussex. And that's true. William's attempt to gather attention for himself is wasted because no one's listening and no one cares. 9 million Londoners keep a respectful distance during William's arrival at Guildhall. Well, that was nice. I didn't bother to download the video, but as you can see, the streets are empty, save for just one pedestrian there. But yeah, the 9 million people of Greater London has decided to yield way for the Prince of Wales, giving him a completely open and vacant street to arrive at the Guildhall. Or you can just say, nobody gave a rat's behind to show up. No one's interested and no one cares. The streets are empty because, well, it's William. What is the point? Right? What is the point? So maybe if it was teenage William with the beautiful golden hair and the bashful appearance, maybe that would bring out a crowd. But this is old, crusty, dusty William with just a whiff of what used to be his blonde hair and the suggestion of a beard, and it's just not working for him. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. Oh, but William doesn't care whether there's someone there or not. The most important person in the room is Jason Knopf. Reunited and it feels so good. Reunited 'cause we understood. There's one perfect beard and baby, this one is it. We both are so excited 'cause we're reunited. Hey, hey. Yes, there's one perfect beard. Well, I tell you, Jason Knopf is looking more like a rat every day. Isn't it bliss? Are we a pair? Me here bald as a onion, you with thick hair. But where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe she's here. I love that song. Anyway, guess what, you guys? I am just about done. Yes, this is the last slide. So thank you very much. Thank you for hanging out for 3 hours. I don't know why Royal Sussex is so long. I try and try and try to trim that time down to an hour. And next thing you know, 3 hours later, we're still here. You know what I'm saying? We're here. We're queer. Get used to it. Yeah, 3 hours later, we're still here. By the way, this is the end of Pride Month. So if you haven't slept rough with a black man, it's not too late. You know, for Pride Month. Let me see. Oh, there's only 30 days this month. Tuesday is the first, or as I like to say, Tuesday is Rosé Day. Yes. Only 30 days this month, so Tuesday is Rosé Day. Also, it's time to pay rent and or mortgage. So if you have a rental and or mortgage or an association fee, time to cough up the money. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Oh, Legs. Let me see. Navy Pier had a blast tonight. Really? Were you at Navy Pier? Oh, well, goof night to you too. Back at you. I see how you are with goof night to you too, and thank you. What was I saying? uh, see there, that's what happens when there's 3 hour Royal Sussexes. People have those misspellings. Let me see. Oh, you were in town for a wedding. Nice. Nice. Oh, you're welcome, Cookies and Cream. Now, tomorrow, we're only going to be on for 1 hour. I am going to trim this time down. If it's the last thing I do, 3 hours. What were we talking about for 3 hours? You know, I used to wonder what it would be like to work for a radio station if I had one of those radio talk shows. I mean, essentially, this is kind of doing the same thing, except for when you're a content creator, you're the writer, the producer, you're the director. What else? The editor. You do it all. Vor Leo, thank you. Thank you. Good night, Hazel Jones. Good night, Heather Stroud. Good night, Jacqueline. And you guys, make sure you keep praying for the lady Sussex. She lost her mom, what was it, day before yesterday? Yeah, so she's definitely going to need our prayers like never before. Yes, good night, John Boy. Good night. Anyway, let me get this trash off the screen. Ugh, get them off the screen. Oh, you guys, I'm going to put the link for Celibici. Please do support them. They haven't been on for 3 months, but they have a great, great podcast that they have. They also have they have their own website. They're writers, journalists, and they have been following the royals. I think they said since, oh gosh, I don't remember how long, but they've been following the royals for a long time, and I really love their work. They do not have comments. They have their comments turned off. Okay. Yeah, this is it right here. Yeah, it's only 30 minutes, and I think you will enjoy it. Just remember, you don't have to watch it tonight. If you think you got some spare time, just watch it later, tomorrow, on your commute to work this week or something. Check them out. Okay, I pinned the link for Celibici at the top of the chat. Do check them out. They have a great show. Oh, speaking of great shows, you guys know that Gilded Age is back. Now, I tried to binge watch it the other day, but I could only watch one episode. Is that what we're doing now? They're not releasing the entire batch. You can only watch one per week. I could only watch one episode, and I tell you, I was not pleased. Let me see here. But I love Gilded Age. So I watched it's season 3, and it seemed like they only have, well, let me see if they got another episode out. Yes, they only have episode 1. Yeah, I don't like this. I do not like this. Oh, it's only one per week? Oh, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. Um, the caption, I don't know how to do that. But I tell you what, I'll try to figure it out because I think that everything is captioned now, right? I don't know if you have to use a PC for it to work, but I thought that YouTube made everything captioned. But I'll sort it out. Yeah, one episode per week. I watched the first episode, but now I have to wait. I don't like this. Well, what day does it come out? Is it Monday or what? If you don't mind. I don't know what day it comes out. After this, I'm getting rid of Max. I've had Max for a few years and I don't even watch it. However, however, of course, the only thing I watch on Max is Gilded Age. If I don't know if I'm getting Max from a credit card or not. One of those things that comes with the card. I don't remember how I got it. But the other day, I had to call the credit card company because I'm just like, listen, am I paying for Amazon Prime? Well, not Prime, but am I paying for Prime Video? And I think I'm not. I think I get reimbursed for that and something else. Um, but yeah, and they do this tricky little thing when you go on Amazon. They say, if you want to use your points, you can buy up to whatever amount of merchandise by using your points. No, those points are for traveling, not for purchases. I'm traveling with my points. Even if I can get a discount on a plane ticket, that's better than nothing at all. Oh, Monday. Thank you so much. Elaine Parker, you have awakened refreshed and full of knowledge. I really, really value that. Thank you so much. So, Mondays. Okay. Okay. Oh, you guys, I was so shook up when I heard about Lady Sussex mom, and it just kind of, oh, I'm sorry, I put my face on the microphone. It was kind of shocking. It's too bad. Oh man. It's too bad because it's just like, it's like you kind of feel helpless when someone is going through something and you can't do anything about it, right? So it kind of makes me feel helpless anyway. Oh well, I mean, it is part of the circle of life, but it doesn't make it any easier, does it? Let me see. I got rid of Amazon Prime and kept Netflix because of Harry and Meghan. And it's less than $10 a month. I can only handle the cheapest plan. Okay. I don't know how much I'm paying. I have had, um, oh gosh, I've had Netflix consistently for at least 11 years. I don't even remember. But I tell you what, I'm going to go and take a look and see how long I had it. And then I'm getting off of this thing. Oh. How long have I had Netflix? Well, let me see. So far, I can see I've had it since 2013. Okay, 2013? Yeah, it looks like I had it since 2013. But no, I had to have it before that. Hmm. Wow, that's the last time I changed my password was 2013, I think. Let me see. Nah, I've had it longer than that. Mm, okay. Let me see. Well, I guess it is 2013. I don't know why I was thinking. I'm sure I had it since 2011. I'm just almost certain that I've had it since 2011. Good night, everyone. Sounds like a deep conversation. Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm just kind of sitting here in a stupor. Um, all right. I'm not gonna stay on it any longer than this. Thank you so much. Love you guys. And thank you, moderators, and thank you, everyone who supports Royal Sussex with your super chat, super stickers, and those memberships that start at just $4.99 per month.